Manchester United 0, Southampton 0. Guys, this was a tough one. This was a tough day in the office. 10 men down at 36 minutes into the game. Casemiro gets sent off for, the third time this season? It's poor. Guys, it's poor. I mean, we could look at the refereeing decisions. I don't think it's a red card at all. I don't think it's a red card at all. It's a yellow card for sure. Gets initial contact on the ball, slides off the ball, hits the opposition kneecap. It's a yellow, and it's a yellow. It is a slightly dangerous attempt at a tackle, but it's not a red card, in my opinion. It's not a red card. But then you look at some other inconsistencies in the game. Rashford gets clipped by the goalkeeper's knee. That's a penalty. And one of their players gets hit in the arm with the ball. So it's a handball because his arm is quite clearly in an unnatural positions like that. And that's all I take from these handballs. All I want to hear is unnatural position. If a player's arm is like that, literally about to hug the ball, that's not natural to me. That's a handball. But other than that, when we talk about the game, 36 minutes into the game, 10 men down, I don't think we were great. First half, we were saying, yeah, some good spells of possession, good opportunities created, one set piece from Bruno, which Varane should have really finished. Weghorst got a good opportunity as well. Bruno in the second half just outside the box. But then, you're really forcing some chances to happen. And it was a difficult game, I got to be honest. I mean, Southampton weren't that great. They had one opportunity that hit the bar. Ward-Prowse free kick hit the top of the bar as well. But that's all really. I mean, we played pretty well defensively. I mean, Ten Hag sticks with a 4-4-1 formation where you see Sancho go in the number 9 position, which is interesting. I personally thought that was a bit of a mistake from Ten Hag. I probably would have kept Weghorst on. This season he hasn't been an aerial threat, but he's got size on him. He's good in terms of his hold-up play. And look, when you're 10 men down, naturally you're going to start to rely on set pieces, some crosses into the box, corners. And we couldn't really do that because as soon as Sancho was hit with a long ball from De Gea, he wasn't winning those aerial battles, and Weghorst would have done so. He'd done it today, even in the first half, and he's been doing that the last few weeks. So I think it was a mistake to keep him off. I mean, if there's any chance of us scoring a goal, it's most likely going to be from a set piece, and Weghorst, we already know, yes, he hasn't been great from set pieces this season in terms of aerial battles and being a threat in the air, but he still would have been, especially in these circumstances when we're 10 men down. And you could see it today. I mean, as soon as Casemiro went off, I did sense that some of their heads went a little. Luke Shaw, some of his passing, he was ball carrying at times, and then he took too long to pass. Then he just gave the ball away. It's just misplacing passes. Rashford and Bruno were silly little flicks, playing as if we still got 11 men on the pitch. I mean, in times where you're 10 men down, you've got to be efficient and you've got to be smart in terms of the passes you make. And today, I don't think we were very smart. I felt like we were rushing things. And look, naturally, we were going to be most of our opportunities were going to come from transitions, which obviously is normal. We're 10 men down, we're sitting back, and we've got to rely on those counter-attacking opportunities. But when we were on transitions, we were quite sloppy. The final ball was quite poor. Some crosses weren't even beating the first man. And we were just forcing things to happen. But in terms of, look, a couple of times Wan-Bissaka puts in trouble as well. Could have been a goal from Southampton. I mean, just little things there where you look at, come on, man, that's an easy pass. Easy pass. Put enough pace on the ball. We're getting dispossessed and then we're being hit on the counter. It's just poor. Like, we look, in terms of the 0-0, I take it, it's at home, we're 10 men down. But we could have played better. You take it, the circumstances, and that's it. You just take the result. But Sancho in that number 9 position, I didn't really understand. I thought I should just leave Weghorst on. Maybe put Sancho on the left if you want. Yes, and even then, I don't think. Maybe just keep Rashford on the left in terms of the left midfielder because it was a 4-4-1. Rashford would have to do a lot of defensive work. Sancho there, you could see he was getting tired. I would just kept Weghorst on as an aerial threat. Look, Fred comes on, McTominay comes on, probably our man of the match, McTominay. Defensively very good, great interceptions, good blocks, good clearances as well in the last 20 minutes of the game. Southampton were just putting a bunch of crosses into the box, hoping that they get a goal from it. But, it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. It's not the result we wanted. Southampton 20th in the league. They've conceded I think they've conceded over 30 goals this season, and they've only scored 20. So you expected us to be a bit better against a team that's 20th in the league. But as soon as Casemiro comes off, you could see it. heads were kind of gone at moments in the game. Even with Casemiro on the pitch, we weren't that great. Casemiro himself, again, we see it from Casemiro every game. It was due to come again, really. Casemiro gets away with some of these silly challenges and some of his passing. You know, he wins the ball back after a nice tackle, and then he tries to spray a ball with his left foot and then misplaces the pass, then they're in, you know. Little things like this need to be cleaned up because we need to be a lot better in possession. We need to be a lot better in possession. Garnacho comes on, directness. Palestra, it was a difficult game to come on, 10 men down. Garnacho he comes off again after he comes on about 15 minutes later, so I'm assuming there's an injury there of Garnacho, and you could see he was distraught. And unfortunately, that's what happens. This is football. It just wasn't our night. It wasn't our afternoon to win this game, unfortunately. But, you know, Palestri has a good game against Real Betis, comes on, looks a threat. He does look a threat. Direct, him and Garnacho on the opposite wide positions of midfield. And you could see it. They were a threat from those wider positions, but just not enough. Not enough. And especially when you're not being that good in possession, when you're misplacing passes, you know, players like this, they're just not going to be as much of a threat because you need your team to play as a unit. And today I felt like a lot of the time some of our players were just overdoing it, especially Luke Shaw, Bruno with silly little flicks and that. So it's unfortunate. But you know what, guys? We move on. 4 games without Casemiro. What's going to happen next? Sabitzer is injured. Hopefully he comes back in. We're missing Eriksen deeply. We're missing him so much. Could be the return of McFred. We could see Martinez in midfield. Maybe we might see Maguire, Lindelof come in as centre-back just to keep a bit of balance because I don't want to see McFred and McTominay. Well, McFred and McTominay. McTominay and Fred, I don't want to see that. I would like to see Martinez in midfield maybe in one of the next upcoming games because I feel like he's a player who's very good on the ball. Great passer, great vision. His timing when it comes to ground duels is phenomenal. And he was one of our best players today. So I think maybe there's a conversation to be had that Martinez needs to be in midfield. Maybe bring in Lindelof and Varane in the centre-back partnership. Maybe Maguire, maybe Ten Hag will do that. But I think when you're trying to replicate what Casemiro can do, I think the closest player really, not even just in terms of physicality or their physical appearance, it can't be McTominay because I don't think he's got that capability of spraying out a pass confidently or to even support the back four. He doesn't have that defensive ability or awareness. I think you've got to play Martinez because he's a natural centre-back, but he can play in defensive midfield and he's all-round a very good player. So I think when you're talking about someone who can play in that role, I think it's Martinez. So I hope to see that. Guys, it is what it is. We move forward. Let's see what happens.